Get a little bit smaller. Yeah, we're gonna start talking to the serpent. Not one of the Qitari, the serpent. Oh, okay, we're gonna get the blue Finau sisters. Delving deeper. The great serpent of Ronka wishes to impart divine wisdom unto you. Or so you think. The serpent jumps joyfully. It appears that the Qitari excavation effort is proceeding swimmingly. Speak with Jakara Kodal to see if there is anything you might do to lend a hand. Oh, brilliant! You'll be happy to know that the charm your friend fashioned for us worked most splendidly. We've been able to reach deeper depths than ever before. And thanks to you, the restoration of the first stela is all but complete. You are simply must see it. Ahem. You'll also be pleased to know that the relics and records that turned up in our subsequent trips below have confirmed the interpretation of history that you expounded was indeed and indubitably true. We came upon many ritual instruments in the tunnel below. It is most clear that, let it suffice to say, we Qitari have never been particularly adept at the art of war. So it was that our ancestors searched far and wide for a safe haven where they could call home. Ronka, on the other hand, was composed of many strong peoples. The Ronso, brave warriors, the Dran, adept at the arcana arts, and the Viis, peerless archers, all working together for the Empire's prosperity. Not long after the Qitari first made contact with the Empire, our skill as scribes and scriveners, whatever it says, became evident to high-ranking court officials, and we were offered a prominent role in the Ronkan society in return for our loyal service. 4 races so different, all living and working together for the greater good. Oh, what I wouldn't give to be able to live just one day in those glorious days of the Empire. But our work is far from done. Indeed, in our explorations, we have found what appears to be an entrance leading to an even deeper level of the caves. I have little doubt that the remaining stelae lie further below. I have sent a team below to conduct preliminary investigation before we begin the next phase of the excavation in earnest. My trusted scout, Taral Manol, should be here to make her report at any... Master Qitari, I bring news from below, news that I fear is not good. Again? I swear, if we Qitari did not have rotten luck, we would have none at all. Do tell, what did you find down there? Entering the second stratum, we came upon a shrine to our protector, Oxtalon. It appeared to have been ravaged by the beasts that lurk below, but still it stood after all these years. A shrine, you say? No doubt it was erected by our ancestors, more likely to ward off some greater danger that lurks further below. This was my thought as well, Master Qitari. A cave-in? A flood? Fearsome creatures from the depths? We were too fear-stricken to press onward, not knowing what manner of calamity might befall us. But we must press on somehow. Can we not appeal to Dalan somehow? That he might protect us as we delve further? Indeed. Perhaps there is a suitable ritual for the occasion. Sadly, if there is, I fear it is beyond my knowledge. I know just the person to call. I think I know a Viis who could help you. Oh, I thought we were going to call it Quinford. But I mean, the preview showed the blue hair Viis. I think I know a Viis who could help you. Perhaps you might find your answer in Finau. Why, yes, indeed. The Viis are nothing if not well-versed in Ronkan tradition. The one with hair color of night, Master Lenine, was it? I hear she has lived as long as 10 Qitari. Yes, I'm sure she will have knowledge that will serve us well. Long-lived as they are, the wisdom they have passed down through generations doubtless rivals that which our ancestors recorded. If anyone can help us, I dare say it is them. Good, Brilliant. Pray take me to Fanao at once. I would meet their Master Lenil, that I might partake in her deep knowledge of ancient Ronkan rites. I can't wait till he calls her an old lady. This is gonna be pretty funny, if he does. Oh, let's go over to Fanao. I'm always happy to see some more Viis. You know. So many Viis in one place, I can scarce believe my eyes. Scream, scream. I don't know why I bothered talking to him. I think I just want to do the scream voice. Brilliant, you grace us again with your presence. Me? I will be departing on my journey any day now. Yes, as soon as I decide where my destination will be. Welcome back, Brilliant. For better or worse, little has changed with me since last we met. Ina, too, is as indecisive as ever. We had heard rumors the Qitari had returned to the Great Wood, but did not expect to receive a visit so soon. Just seeing you brings back memories of olden times. Is she really that old? Memories? Do you mean that you knew my ancestor? I am older than you might think, my little friend. Anyhow, the answer is yes. Have you heard the name Rak'tika? She was a close friend of mine, and would come calling often to exchange news of the wood. Rak'tika? I do believe I saw that name on Father's family tree. But if I recall correctly, she was my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmother. It was that long ago, wasn't it? How quickly the years fly by. Still, I am heartened by your presence, young Chakarl. For many years after the flood, I feared we would never see one of your kind again. And you, Brilliant, welcome back to Fanao. What brings you to us this day? I see. Our Qitari friends seek to discover their history and to reclaim the knowledge and lore of their ancestors. An admirable goal, indeed, and doubtless not a simple task. We would be honored to lend our aid and reforge the bonds between our peoples that were so strong in the days of Ronka. Now, do tell me more about these tunnels you were exploring. My dear sister has quite a weakness for ancient Ronkan ruins and relics, you see. To tell you the truth, I had been preparing to leave the Great Wood on a journey of the realm, but if the Qitari require my aid, perhaps I can postpone my departure just a bit longer. It would seem that the Great Serpent smiles upon our partnership as well. This is auspicious indeed. Master Liti, what knowledge of the Qitari lives on here in Fanao? Very little, I'm afraid. The tales I can remember hearing from my dear departed friend, and no more. Sadly, the precise details of the Qitari rites and rituals are beyond my recollection. And yet, I do recall Chaparral once mentioning that Qitari prayers to Oxdalon were remarkably similar in form to our own petitions to Ixmaya. It is not so surprising, perhaps, given how closely our two people were connected in those days. If we were to teach you one of our own traditions, mayhap you could adapt it to for your own purposes. You would do so for us? Gladly, old friend. But first, we will need to prepare a simple altar for performing the rite, and find ourselves a suitable offering. The liver and blood of an ancient beast, together with the root of a spirit weed, a rare shrub that grows near the Kamal Apostle, Stropolis. Yes, I do believe this will suffice. I know the ways of the beast of the woods. Leave the hunting to me. As for the final offering, I suspect Brilliant would have little difficulty acquiring it, yes? Stoic nod. Excellent. In the meantime, I will teach the ritual to young Qitari here. Were the passage into the tunnels larger, we would accompany you ourselves, but alas... Do not worry, my good Master Lenil. I will learn the words and gestures well, and Delon will hear our plea. Just you wait and see. You are a spirited one, child, but be forewarned, Master Lenil is a strict taskmistress. Ye gods! Forgive me, my friends. I will do my best. Anyhow, let's all reconvene at Hopl's Stopple when we are finished with our allotted tasks. They actually gave them different waves. Or at least I think they were different waves. Let's see, just need one, right? Let's go ahead and get some crystals while I'm here too. I already have like several thousand of these, but you never know when I'm gonna run out. I never know when I'm gonna just run out and then I have to buy a bunch. It's always annoying. You go and you get all the materials to do a craft, and then it says you don't have the required materials, and you're just like, what? Why not? And you double check your materials, and you have everything. Then you look up at your crystals, and you're like, oh. Then you spend like 70k buying 1,000 of them, which isn't much. It's always a pain when it happens. I was wondering when you might return, Brilliant. Have you found the offering that we require? Yep, got it right here. The Viis believe this will suffice as an offering to Delon. Very well, so be it. As soon as Qitari and the Viis arrive, we shall begin the second phase of the excavation. Why, just look at all the Qitari scurrying around. I had heard they were industrious people, but to see it with my own eyes is impressive indeed. Hail and well met. I am Fina of Fanau, and this is my sister, Siuna. We have come to assist in the ritual, of which your son has doubtless told you. Greetings, greetings. Please accept my apology for making a fuss so close to your village without properly paying my respects. I fear I have been quite preoccupied with my duties here. There is no need for that, friend. It is we who should apologize for our sisters who gave you such a fright upon your return home. As you may well know, our people were strong friends and allies in the days of Ronkan. It is our honor to reforge those bonds in the present day. Should you require anything of us, you need but say the word. Anyhow, thanks to Brilliant here, it would seem we have all the offerings needed to proceed with the ritual. Do you remember all that Master Lenil taught you, Qitari? But of course, I said every word over to myself 100 times on the way here. I will do your Master Lenil and my people proud. I should hope so, my son. Very well, let the dig begin. sometime later. Did we seriously get another worm? Qitari Natal and Chikaro Katal have safely returned from their investigation of the tunnels. It would seem that things beyond our understanding are afoot in the depths below. Another avatar of the Great Serpent? What is the meaning of this? 3? How many serpents are we going to have at the end of this? I cannot say for sure. We found a second Stella, but I fear, much as the last one, it proved too massive to carry to the surface. Just as we were pondering our next course of action, this armor-clad fellow arrived, and let out a mighty... Precisely. While I cannot confess to fully understand the import of what it is saying, I can only surmise that the serpent once again wishes for us to call upon the wisdom of the ally Ronkan, that is, and restore the Stella to its erstwhile form. And yet, much as last time, the engravings are weathered to no small degree. I have my own thoughts about what they signify, but I would rather hear my son's theory first. What say you, Qitari? Well, let me see now. One marking was clearly of a Viis, knocking a bow. That I could make out the semblance of a Qitari, its arms seemingly held in the air. The image of Viis on a Qitari stone? How fascinating. Just as the first stela depicted our history with the Ronkan Empire, no doubt these markings tell the first encounter between our two peoples. Having befriended the benevolent Ronkans, our people then met the Viis, skilled hunters and wise to the ways of the forest. So pleased were our ancestors that they threw their hands in the air in glee. I don't think that's how it actually went down. I don't remember what I chose last time, if I chose the peaceful or the not-so-peaceful solution. That is a more optimistic interpretation, my boy. And yet I feel it is more logical to read the stone a different way. Doubtless the Viis came upon our ancestors, small and scurrying about the forest, and took them for prey. Facing arrows pointed at their hearts, our ancestors threw up their hands in sheer terror. So it was that the Viis, newcomers to the Great Wood, nearly came into conflict with the mighty Ronkan Empire. Our legends tell of how the goddess Ixmaya guided our people to the forest, but say little of what awaited us upon our arrival there. As far as we can say, both theories are more than plausible. Still, I would hope to believe. No, I will say no more. It would ill behoove me to stick my nose in matters of Qitari lore. I agree. Qitari history should be written by the Qitari themselves. In any event, we are pleased that we were able to contribute to your cause in some small way. We shall return to Fanao, but please do not hesitate to call upon us again. There is still much catching up to do between our people. Once again, it seems we find ourselves with a choice to make. Scree. Yes, brilliant. You impart unto us your wisdom once more. How are you inclined to interpret our history? I kind of feel like... I'm pretty sure I chose the more optimistic version last time, but I'm more inclined to pick the not-so-optimistic one this time. Let's see, so which one should I choose this time? So if a race, let's see, so are the Viis, let's think about this for a second. The Viis, when they originally encountered the Qitari this time, they pointed their bows at them. But in this case, the Viis had already established themselves in the forest, and that this is their home, and there are new creatures here that they've never seen before, and were cautious. In the past, they were coming to the forest and were discovering the new species. So all species would be unfamiliar to them. The question is, are they going to be hostile towards all of the species or not? I would say they probably wouldn't if they ended up becoming friends with the Ronkan Empire. I'm going to go with the sun's interpretation again. Even if it's, like, overly optimistic. You too saw how Master Lenil welcomed us when we visited Fanao, yes? Why, it is simply post-prosperous to think... Post-prosperous? Okay, I thought that was the actual words, but no, it's just one of his mispronunciations. Post-prosperous to think that the friends of my great-great-great and so on grandmothers and grandfathers hunted us like vermin. Yes, I am quite certain that the Viis were our friend from the earliest days. The Qitari in the markings is meant to be raising its hands in sheer joy. Surely you agree. I mean, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Splendorous. Splendorous. Oh, thank you, Brilliant. I know you would see things just as I did. You believe my son has the right of it. Well, I suppose there is something to be said for adopting a brighter view of history. Very well, let us proceed with the restoration. At long last, another piece of our history comes into focus. But our struggles to reclaim our legacy goes on. Pray continue to lend us your aid. Father and I will send our finest artisans. The work must begin at once. The second Qitari stela has been restored to depict Jakaro Katal's interpretation of the first encounter between Qitari and Viis. Protected by their new altar erected according to the traditions of the Viis, and heartened by rediscovering another piece of their heritage, the stewards have returned their excavation efforts with newfound zeal. Should you choose, continue to aid them in their cause. Alright, let's see what new rewards we got. Aged Oak, I don't know what that's for, we already got that, and the rest is that. Okay.